Well, I was thinking about building a slide for my cooler, but I'm having second thoughts now because the cooler is really going to take up over half of the back space here. And that's a lot. I mean, for the cooler to slide out is relatively pretty pointless then. It was definitely warm and muggy out earlier. At least the cloud cover's coming in. I was a few beers drank last night on that live stream. If you guys would stay tuned to that. 6 Luckies. Not feeling too bad though, all things considered. So I got some of my parts that I'm gonna need to build my slide out. These are some offcut channels I got from Metal Supermarket and 16 feet, which is way too much, but I'll always use it for something. And then my drive shaft, I picked it up today, shortened, completely rebuilt, ready to rock and roll. Got it from the best guy in the business around here, Driveline Specialties. The owner lives right down the street from me, actually. And before you guys start spewing off that I should have went to Adam's Driveshaft, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I don't give two about Adam's Driveshaft. That everybody keeps on preaching that you should get your drive shaft done by him. I don't give a alright? This guy here, this company that built my drive shaft, builds and rebuilds drive shafts for the oil industry. I was refurbishing frac pumpers, 3,000 horsepower cat engines, over 6,000 foot-pounds of torque. That's what those drive shafts are being stressed at. And if he can build drive shafts to tolerate that abuse in the oil patch, he's getting my fucking money. I don't give a fuck what you guys say. Right, Tomcat? Screw the haters, right? Yeah. You love hate. You feed off it. Isn't that right, buds? Hey? What are you doing? Do you want some gin scritches? Do you? You're such a good boy. You are. That's right. I'm talking engines that can burn 100 gallons of diesel per hour. No problem. So the agenda is get that drive shaft in, start planning out ideas for the slide and a shelving system utilizing that. Where the fuck did it go now? Oh, there it is. The seat bracket I picked up. Need to fix those lights and the lock mechanism on the doors. Fedora's having the same issue, but I got an idea that I will use to fix that problem. Yeah, I've been stocking up for enough material. Keep me busy for a while, that's for sure. I also need to get the gears turning. What I'm gonna do for the spare tire, kind of like cargo carrier, so I can put some extra stuff in there. What you doing? You're the only kitty I know that sleeps in his pet carrier. I know. And I noticed since you've been eating tons of grass that you no longer throw up hairballs, Mr. Tomcats. I know. You love to sleep in your pet carrier. You sure do. You sure do. I know. I'll let you get back to your dreaming, Mr. Doms. What other kind of goodies? I picked up some nuts and bolts. I'm going to use 1/4 inch to fasten the cooler slide to the back of the Jeep. I also got these locking pins. They are a little bigger than I had thought, but they're definitely beefy and there'll be no issues. So I guess it's time to drop that skid pan again, hook up the front drive shaft, and then I need to take the Jeep out in the alley, put it in 4x4 low, and see how the transmission shifts, because I may have to make some changes in HP tuners for that. This is one of those purchases I made a long time ago. This is a motorcycle jack, and I've used it for so many purposes that it was not originally intended to be used for. I used to have a couple bikes way back in the day, and that's what I bought. But I've used it to lower gas tanks for the skid plate. Works out awesome. I've used it on my quad. You could use that. I'd use it on my transfer case. I'd probably use it to pull a tranny. So the drive shaft is put in, and I don't like the looks of that at all. That's way too close to the drive shaft for me. Look how close the shifter is too. So as always, this is the dilemma you face. If I flip that bracket backwards, where I'd have lots of room, I don't have enough. I can't turn it in enough. So this is where I'm at now. I'm gonna trace it out, make one straight, because that'll give me the room that I mill set up now. And gonna try to machine that slot in. So now I got my custom piece fitted in. It's straight. I'm in drive position right now, and that is a lot better than the factory piece. I'm not gonna worry as much now. It's still tight, but not as far in as the other one was. But that's why it pays to have a mill. It's a little crudely cut, but it works. And then lastly, what I did to keep the shifter cable away from the drive shaft is I zip tied it to my hoop here, just like I made that bracket there to keep the cable away. The other skid pan's back on. That's all taken care of. Identified some issues. We'll have to deal with any other issues that arise once I'm actually out there using it and see what's gonna happen. But looking good. Like, even if I remove the skid plate drop down, my drive shaft would be hanging off that bracket. Just brought the laptop out with HP tuners. So I want to correct myself. I thought it was the transmission shifting in 4 low with the VSS between the transfer case and the transmission, but it's actually the high speed idle I might have to adjust. Holy shit, good thing I had the emergency brake on, because it was in gear. So yes, you can start it in gear. Fuck me. I would have drove right through my toolbox. So now I'm gonna 4 high. Should be in low right now, but it's not saying that in my thing. It's just saying 4. So right now I'm just driving in 4-wheel high, just to make sure that everything is all right. So now I'm just driving in 4x4 low. Just kind of concerned about the high idle, especially when it came to like stopping and stuff, but I think I'm gonna be good. All right, shut her down. Tackle some more tomorrow. Oh, this is our typical evening with Mr. Tom cuddled up. Hey, Butts, are you cuddled up? Are you? What's that look for? Guts, what are you doing? Are you cuddled up to me? Is that what you're doing? Sleeping Beauty. Well, let's get these other projects banged off. Definitely think I'm gonna have to cut my hair this week. There's supposed to be another severe thunderstorm watch today. It was nice out earlier, but I see the clouds are starting to roll in now. It is looking pretty dark out that way for sure. Yeah, I don't think trying to figure out why those lights don't work anymore will be a big deal. Take care of that, but that door panel, trying to figure out that lock mechanism is going to be interesting. Because Fedor said there's a lever that bends and you can bend it back and it'll work, but it'll keep bending back. But I wonder if you put like a spot weld and then make like a gusset. I'm gonna have to see once I get there. But first, let's get this fixed up. This is a little Android stereo I installed for the Jeep. Fits perfectly in there. It's got GPS and everything else. But back to the wiring here. The good old Scotch lock. A lot of people hate these, but inside a vehicle, you're not going to see any corrosion. They work just fine. So this black is my ground. The yellow is my transmission temperature sensor wire. The green will be for the light. Well, that was a simple fix. The light just came out of the little Deutsch connector down there, or the pin. So now I gotta deal with this door problem. The only way you can open it is if you put the key in. You have to hold the key over like that, because even if you go inside, you can't really lock it anymore. And in my journeys, I found it. Little cheap tool, I can't remember. It's probably been over a decade since I used it. And I also found these snap-on trim tools. Probably paid like 500 bucks for these way back in the day. It's because it says snap-on. Beat it through like that so it's lined up. I just pushed it forward. And now the crank should just come right off. Washer and all. Now upon inspection here, I am not seeing anything that's broken or bent, because you got these pieces. Usually these plastic pieces will bend, and there's another piece way down in there. Try to get a light. So that bar where the lock tumbler is can sometimes get bent as well. So now, I wonder if I just lubricate it and see what happens. So this is a silicone lubricant. I don't even know if you can buy this anymore. So So the interesting thing is you can operate it normally, but some reason when you close the door, it won't, this lock mechanism kind of goes in the middle. So right now I'm going through the process of elimination. I disconnected this, and by doing that, I want to see if I could open and close the door, but I couldn't from the outside. So the issue wasn't with this top one, so I'm going to remove this bottom one, see if that's going to be the culprit. So I remove that, and it's the same thing. I have to hold that, open it, so those aren't the issue. So now I pulled this out. In order to get that out, you gotta roll the window back up. I know it's kind of a pain, but you have to kind of weasel it in there. Kind of twist and turn it, find your own way. So I feel something's wrong because you can see there doesn't seem to be too much play, but there's a couple Phillips in the front I'm going to remove. Well, for one, there's pieces of glass in there. So the window must have been smashed once before. Somehow glass got in there, but I got way more movement now. You see now that the glass is out? Way more movement now. Now to put this back in, it's the same way as you took it out, just opposite, and she goes right in. Starting to hail a little bit now. Starting to come down now. It's harmless at the moment. Well, it's the moment of truth. Oh, yeah. Inside one work? Yes. And it's fixed. Using the process of elimination. Sleepyhead. Hey, bud. What are you doing? You go back to sleep. I'm not there to bother you. Well, it takes care of everything, and another set of projects are done. It's time to move on to the cooler slide out and some other things before hopefully next weekend take the Jeep out, a little bit of wheeling, a little bit of camping. Depends if the weather holds out. One of the things I've been looking at the past little while too is that all these fat bikes seem to be the craze, and the price of fat bikes are just insane. But I realize I already had kind of a fat bike in a sense in the early 2000s when I was a lot slimmer and a lot more active. I used to downhill mountain bike all the time, so I've had my mountain bike beside the shed covered up, so I dug it out today. It's an old school 2001 Norco Shore that I bastardized a long time ago out of a Kona Stinky in this to build it. It's got a 24 rear tire. It's pretty fat too. 26 front tire. Only the small gear in the front. Fox shock in the rear. This is my homemade lowering bracket, and it's got the shiver in the front. I had to replace the handles because they were all kind of rotten. And then the front brake didn't have any more pressure left, so I drained out all the oil and it looked like there was water in it. Now I got brakes in the front and greased up the chain or oiled up the chain. So I've been walking every day, but I want to get back into a little bit of biking. I mean, that thing is a friggin' classic now in the world of bikes. 2001. It is motherfucking beer time though. I just had one of these Luckies. All right, I'm thirsty, so this is gonna go down smooth. Motherfucking beer time, everybody. I used to laugh at this beer. Now it's damn good. It's freaking good. So, moving forward, I keep thinking, you know, now that Jeep is drivable, gonna be running out of projects to do. I got that rear end to build, but I got a shit ton of stuff in the works to fabricate and build, enough to keep me busy for the next 2 to 3 months. And after that, be time to look for a job when the winter time comes, and there's really a whole lot of sweet fuck all to do in the winter time, because don't want to be paying to heat the garage in the winter time. But now it's time to start fabricating some stuff for overland camping, because that's the reason why I'm building this Jeep, because I want to take it out places. I want to go camping in the woods. I want to explore and see some nature. Anyways, motherfucking beer time. If you guys have any questions or comments, post them below. I'll see you guys in the next video.